I love
Yay, we're live. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, we don't have the names now. What happened to the names?
We don't, do we? Hang on.
Yeah.
We'll take care of that.
Little technical difficulties, but
It's never difficult. It's just another moment. It's our chance to play with. Oh, I see what I did. It's our chance to play with being whatever we'd like to be for a moment, and not have to be what we defined ourselves as being. So welcome everybody to an unusual day. It is election day in the United States, which means lots of drama everywhere. But we're gonna be your dose of joy and wonder and kitty cat tales and art and being you tools. And how does it get even better than that? Welcome to Conversations on Being with Rachel and Helen and Mehlika Tanriverdi on the other side of the planet. She is in Germany at the moment, and Helen is in Chicago at the moment, and I'm still
for just one day, and then moving on to the next big thing, small things, Miami body class. So
how does it get even better than that?
How does it? And what else can we create with being instead of doing? Right now, I came back from body class in Dallas, and we had pretty much the whole 3 days talking about being versus doing. So, Mehlika, you're here now with us and having the conversation, and you're being you facilitator. What's your take on being?
Wow, that's a good question. So I actually always thought I was a beer. I was a doer. I'm a doer. I just do so many things, and I love to do stuff until I realized that that is being me as well, which is really interesting. So, like, we always say, like, either you be or you do, but actually that part of that being. And when I'm being me, I paint, for example. I love to be creative. Like, all the creativity comes out of me, and I'm like, and what's really interesting is that it's like, it's just being in the flow or being and receiving everything, and then realizing, yeah, that's really cool. Oh yeah, that's really great. Oh, that adds as well. So everything that comes adds up, and that being is like the way.
So it's doing in being rather than proving.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Doing as a proving. So that's fascinating, actually, because most of us tend to view doing as a proof of being rather than doing as part of the being and the process of being and the choosing and the action and just the joy of the creative.
Yeah, I mean, I did that too. Like, I did also do to prove. And then I came across those tools from extras, and I started asking questions like, am I doing to prove, or am I being? And I was like, oh, okay, I'm just being. I'm not proving here. And then, and then you get like really.
Yeah, I love what you said. You said, I'm doing to prove versus being to do.
Yep.
So how cool is that? So tell us more about your art.
What do you want to know?
Everything.
Is it what's behind you?
That behind me is from me, exactly. Like, not the one on the left hand side. That's like, I can show you maybe like that.
Oh,
right on the left is by another artist. That's one of my first arts that I bought. I bought it in Peru. And this behind me is from me. It's like a pyrography. I'm burning the lines into the wood, and then I paint it, and then I put epoxy on top. Like, this is like
it's beautiful.
And it's epoxy, and it's just like half the way up. And I'm doing, like, in the moment for the next exhibition, I'm figurative. So I paint people. I catch the energy of people and put it into artwork. And what I just bought, like, that's being, right? I just went to the markets and I saw these flowers. and I'm not sure if you can
Oh,
see
wow.
them.
Yes. They're
And
like
they smell,
pansies.
yeah, and they smell delicious. And actually, they are to eat. You can put it in your food. And I
Oh,
was like,
that's so cool.
oh, I'll just get them. And I was like, I'm gonna dry them, and I'm gonna put them into the epoxy. And that's like my new series is like with flowers and people. And it's so
Oh, that's so much fun. I would not have ding-donged to do that. See, that's what I love about these conversations. Just, as another, I tend to bounce around a lot, ADD brain here. But I love that because when that's what we love about being that. Okay, that expand, Rachel.
Expand.
The gift of when we see a possibility, when we're introduced to something, it's like, oh my God, you could do that? That is so cool. And then, of course, you have something else that's on the menu of possibilities that you can choose from and you can play with and you can have so much fun with. It's an invitation. And each one of us, truly, by choosing whatever it is, whether now it's the artwork and I'm like, oh my God, and it doesn't even have to be a plastic flower. That is so cool. It just opens up such a space. And with each of us, with doing a body class and touching a body and showing the body, wow, there's another energy, there's another possibility, there's something else on the menu that you can choose. It's like, oh, wow, what a gift we are, each of us in this world, with every choice that we make and every willingness to explore something different. Thank you.
Thank you. The activity of taking the flower and turning it into art. Flower is art.
It's art too.
Yeah. And then making it kind of like semi-permanent. I would not say permanent, but semi-permanent for people to see it. What a gift. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I like that. Yeah. So I just, art is part of being. And with Being You, when did you discover the Being You tools? And what drew you to being? What drew you? Ha ha. There goes art again. That's so funny. So what drew you to being a Being You certified facilitator?
It began like 7 years ago.
Long ago and far away.
Yeah, years ago. Dr. Jane here came to Germany. Like it was his first Being You class, one-day class in Germany. And I went there and it was like really difficult to get it all sorted. And I just made it and I was so happy because like in the first 10 minutes when I was there, I was like, I'm going to do that. That's so amazing. I was just like, I was totally fried. And I think the whole room, everybody was like, what the?
Yeah, it doesn't take much. Within about 10 minutes, I think Dane fries nearly everybody. And
you're like, what is he doing there? And he was doing like an ESP session. Susanna Mittermeier was translating him like consecutively. And it was like crazy. And I was like, that, I want to have that. And then I started my journey and I was really slow because I was like always being in, what do you say? It's not judging. It's rather, if you don't believe that it's true.
Mm-hmm. I was doubting.
I was like, I'm not sure if that can work. I'm not sure if that's true. And then the first session, I was like, it really is good. But does it really work?
But did you feel more relaxed after you had your bars run?
Absolutely. Like I got my first bars run by a fellow yoga teaching student of mine. And before the exam, she was like, can you hold those points at me? And I'll hold yours and we'll be really relaxed and go into the exams. And I was like, yeah, because I had I was afraid of exams. I did my master's degree like in 5 years because I was always postponing my exam dates because I was so afraid. And then I hold those points and I hold hers and I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then I was like, oh, maybe it's just because I'm older now. Because I grew out of being afraid of exams. I was so relaxed. I just went in there, I did them and I passed and it like I became a yoga teacher. And then
you're a yoga teacher now too.
oh yeah, that's ages ago.
Like, yeah, that too. It's like, it's not a big deal because, you know, I've already been there and done that. I got the t-shirt, you know.
Yeah, and actually I was searching all the time. So I was like, oh, what's that? And I was like, so I just did a class with her. I took my best friend and was like, let's go and learn that points. And then my friend didn't really like it. So I found someone else to exchange. And I did that for a year. And I was like, everything started changing like so quickly. And then I started translating the classes. Actually, I wasn't a translator before. I never thought I could translate anything at all, like right, simultaneously. And I started translating Rachel O'Brien, then Graham Crossgill, and 2 years later, I started translating Gary and Dane's classes. Like, I'm translating most of the big classes right now, and I'm like, how did I get so lucky? And that capacity I discovered through using the tools and being, like, just following what I know or what is easy or what is fun for me. And I love to translate.
Oh, that's fantastic. Just from, you know, in terms of translating, just so other people know, what is it like? Like, how does translating bring you more into being and being present?
That's a good question. Since I translate the foundation this year in Sao Paulo, and that's where I realized, like, the difference between translating Gary and Dane, who are really congruent with the energy, with what they're saying, and then other people who were new to Access who weren't congruent with their questions or anything. And then it was really funny because in the morning I was like, I'm the best translator, I'm so fucking good. And then in the afternoon I was like, I have no clue, but I don't get 3 words together. I have no clue, but I must be really, I don't know what's happening. Then I went to Susie and I was like, I don't know what's happening, but like I was really good. And then I was really like, I couldn't translate anything. And she was like, did you realize that you maybe went into the realities of all those other people and that you are very aware of the energies? And I was like, oh yeah. And then I realized that in the mornings it was just Gary and Dane, and the afternoon it was other people asking. And I was like, okay, so translating is being present, but also like being aware of everything that's going on. And
yeah,
maybe I like that a lot.
Well, I think with art also, it's really fascinating. And I mean, I'm not an artist. You two are. Well, maybe I don't know. I'm creative in other ways. There's other things that I do. I don't necessarily sit down and paint. I draw naked people, naked women. You know, that's a whole other thing. My massage table downstairs has a bunch of naked women drawings, you know, next to it, just because it's fun for me.
They're beautiful, by the way. I like them a lot.
Thank you, but they're not like they're like quickies, you know. So I don't think of it as necessarily artwork, but there was somewhere I was going with that, and my train left. Huh?
So can I do some clearing? Because a lot of people actually might have the same idea what is art and what is not.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
And people who are watching us who are not familiar with access consciousness, this is the clearing statement, which is a vibrational frequency. And you can go on the website, theclearingstatement.com.
And I have a banner. Oh, and there we go. It's on the bottom. You can see that.
So
I just wanted to say something, though. To me, art is really different because I see, okay, so there's like art, like I sit and I paint, or I do graphic things, or maybe I make a sculpture or something like that where there's a physical thing, but and the thing to me that's the most artistic is planet Earth. I live overlooking a ravine, and to me, just looking at the sky or looking at the rain rolling in, we're about to be hit by a hurricane sometime over, I think tomorrow maybe, or whatever. It's in Nicaragua right now. It's coming across and you can see the clouds rolling in and it's going to be rainy and whatever. And cool, because there's so much beauty in that too. And it's seeing the beauty in everything, or being willing to see a possibility of beauty in everything, to me is also art.
Exactly. So what if everything is art? Living art, breathing art, and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
It doesn't allow us to know that, and all the archetypes of what actual art is, all the myth of that. Let's destroy and uncreate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow.
But online shirts was myth, because everything is art. Everything that you look at is art. Some art might not be pretty, and some art might not be judged as art, but it's still art.
Yeah. It reminds me of
because is art a garbage can with all the garbage around it?
Can be also.
Is it art?
Can be also, if you're willing to see the beauty in it.
Exactly.
Wow, that kind of, wow. Okay, so one of the ladies who makes some of the documentaries, the filmmakers who makes the documentaries for Access, I remember seeing that, like the header before, it's like queer eye, because she's looking for the difference. She's looking for the beauty. She's not looking at whatever people are judging as the right, good, perfect, and correct, the right way to be. She's looking for the possibility in everything. And isn't that a lot of what
art is? Yeah. And it's, to me, art is being. Like everything is art.
And it is inviting more ease. Yeah. If you're willing to.
Because when we stop judging art,
wow,
it becomes ease and joy and glory. So what if it's art is about having joy with everything?
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. When you said I'm not an artist, I was like, I'll do a class on that.
maybe that's
the art of being you.
The art of being you. I love that.
Yeah,
and your life is a masterpiece if you're willing to paint it fully and embrace it and color it with, all sorts of possibilities. My daughter made a drawing of a paintbrush, and we have it on one of my other coffee cups and on these t-shirts, and it says color your world with possibilities, and it's beautiful. Yeah.
And it's like as if every choice we take is like a brush stroke. Like every choice is like, and then you can choose every 10 seconds, okay, which color now? Like, or do I just want to have it in black and white? Or do I want to have it like with loads of colors? What do I want to have it in? Like, and that's the choices we make, like to create our life and our being. And
wow. Yeah. Oh, I love that. I cook that way, actually. I really suck at following recipes. I hate following any like linear direction. You do this and then you do this. I get bored. 2 lines in, I've already forgotten this ingredient and that ingredient and whatnot. But asking, okay, what would like to go in? Okay, which spice would like to play in here? Or what choice, or how would you like to be baked? Would you like to be roasted? Would you like to be whatever in a pan, fried in a pan or whatever? It's just, oh, wow, it's so much fun. Wow. It's like play. Wow. How does it get any better than that? I love it.
How does it? How does it? And like when I was growing up, I was told that I don't have any capacities with art. Well, I wasn't told that, but it was implied, kind of like you don't have the talent. But what if everyone has talent and ability? Because it can look totally different.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because people identify art only like a painting of like done by Michelangelo or Da Vinci or sculpture of David? What if it's not?
Something that I loved about I'm gonna be totally fucking this one up, I think, because I don't remember which of the masters supposedly was sculpting angels out of marble. And when asked, how is it that you do that? He said, all I'm doing is just, the angel's already in the stone. I'm just cutting away what isn't the angel. Wow. Wow. I love that so much. So it's this discovery of possibilities that art is. So what brought you guys to explore art? Both of you, take it in turn. Whoever wants to interrupt the other one first, no problem. A race for. Do you want to start, Mehlika?
I can, of course. Like I studied literature and anthropology, and I before that, I wanted to study art, and my parents were like, "Oh, if you want to study art, you have to stay here and live with us." And I was like, "No, I want to move." So I studied literature and anthropology and decided to become a writer. After I finished my master's degree, I traveled for 1.5 years around the world on my own and discovered the world for myself. And came back, and I couldn't write anymore. So I was pregnant. I couldn't bring together 2 sentences. I was like, ugh. And then I met a gallerist, and I hang out with her, and she was like, hey, there is an artist who's going to give classes. Do you want to join us? And I found my mentor. It was a Cuban textile designer, and she just gave me a material, and she was like, play. And I was like, really? No rules? And I was like, what rules? And she was like, yeah, what would be fun to paint for you? And I was like, me and my son. She was like, yeah, go on. So a year later, I had my first exhibition.
Wow. That's so cool.
The next one. So yeah, it just became an ongoing thing. And now I have got a studio in the middle of a old town of my university city, and I love it. It's just so, yeah, magic.
Oh, beautiful. And like I was telling Mehlika, actually, I don't think it was when we were live, but before, I was looking for her website, and I was looking to steal a photo, for our graphic for this conversation. And I saw, do you own a Tanriverdi yet? I'm like, oh, that is so cool. Like, that is, because there's this, there's this honoring and appreciation of your talent and your capacities. How often truly do we do that? Do we honor ourselves?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you.
Thanks for. So, do you guys already have a Tanriverdi?
No, but I'm next European classes or wherever we can. I would love to.
I'm having an online vernissage at the 13th of November. So if you want to join,
awesome.
It's on Zoom, and I'll introduce my newest artworks, and I'll tell some background stories, and yeah.
I love that. Is that on the website or your Facebook page? Or
there was a Facebook event actually with a Zoom link.
Cool. All right. So find Mehlika on Facebook.
You're awesome.
And there's the website too, and we can all join in. I'm excited on the 13th. I love it.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. What time is it going to be?
Oh, it's going to be at 8 p.m. CET. I reckon it'll be your morning.
During the day, our time.
Yeah, noon time. Very exciting.
Afternoon, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Is it only 6 hours now? I'm so confused. But whichever. I mean, we can click on the link and find the time exchange.
Noon, it might be like 1 o'clock. Like if you can, do you have a link to that Zoom?
To the event?
Yeah, so maybe we can. Like if you can,
we can post it under this. Yeah, that would be really cool.
Wonderful. So people can find you, so we can kind of all play with art. Because I love it's like for me every time when I go to a different city, I have to find a museum. I have to get my fix
Yeah.
on art.
Yes, that's what I do.
Or galleries or something. I remember being somewhere and there was no museums. It was like a very small place, but they did have art gallery. So I was like, okay, I'm going there at least for an hour just to get my fix.
Fantastic. I used to skip university. I studied in Boston, well, outside of Boston, and Brandeis, and I would take the train in and skip school, fuck class, and just go and hang out for hours in the museum. But I loved archaeology, and so I would go into all the ancient exhibits and look at, all of the findings and the artwork, and I would imagine, what would this have looked like in the day, or when it was as the artists had intended. Very cool. Yeah. But I love art and paintings, and it's just fantastic. It was more fun doing it on my own than going through like the Louvre with my daughter when we were there for her birthday. I guess last year or something like that. And she's like, okay, seen it, let's go. Seen it, let's go. Seen it, let's go. Oh, wait, I need this for my TikTok, posing next to it. But it wasn't like, the appreciation of the art. It was seen it, been there, got the t-shirt. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, take a picture of me in front of this one. Okay, we're good. We're done with the Louvre. And I'm like,
yeah, at least she's like, what, 13 now? Going in 14. I went to Dali Museum in St. Petersburg with Rachel when she was 5 years old. It was, when am I going to Children's Museum? Because I promised her to go to Children's Museum right after.
It's too funny, isn't it? I did the same. I went to an exhibition which was like 100 years ago. The same exhibition was shown in Cologne. And I went there with Aziz, and my son was like also 5 years, maybe 4 or 5 years. And I gave him gummy bears, and I prepared everything like really well. And I was like, this is the gummy bears. We go into one room, and then you tell me which one is your favorite painting, and then you can eat one of the gummy bears. And he went there, he turned around, he was like, all of them are beautiful.
Yeah, lots of gummy bears.
Yeah,
I love that.
Like, which one do you like, Rachel? All of them. Let's go.
Yeah,
there was one that she was actually standing for about 5 minutes, which was interesting. I don't remember which one, but it was a big painting of Dali, I think, of the ship. And she was actually like looking at different pieces and parts of it.
I'm wondering, what is it like for kids to grow up around art and around seeing the freedom of creative expression? What do you guys do this?
Do you hear the sound that it's going? There's something.
Okay, hold on a second. I think I need.
No, that might have been maybe if there was a helicopter.
I think I don't have my microphone, so I'm just going to plug it in.
Awesome.
So what is it like for your son, Mehlika? How old is he now?
He's 11 now. And what I just want to say is, like, because of your question, I thought that was really interesting, because we can't tell like what kind of difference it makes. It's the same like with the tools. Aziz grows up using the tools, and he doesn't really know how it would be like without them. Like he uses body processes and everything like so normally. It's like so to him. Like when he's in pain, he goes
second
like,
nature.
Yeah, can you just like hold MTVSS, please? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Or he does it himself, and I'm like, what is happening? And he's like, oh, my tummy hurts, I'm holding MTVSS. So for him, it's so normal.
Yeah, my daughter does that too. Mom, my stomach's bothering me. Please run a process. Yeah. Which one would you like to run? Would it be MTVSS or something else? Yeah, I love that. And they're happy to gift me their heads for bars, but they're not happy to do it to me.
I know.
That's interesting.
I got the deal that Aziz was allowed to watch television when he runs my bars, because before I had loads of points of views about watching television, so he wasn't allowed to. And I was like, oh, if you hold my bars, you could watch television. He was like, oh, really? So he's like, Mom, do you need your bars run? I think you should get your bars run. I was like, I'm so smart, and he's smarter, and it's so fun. It's a win-win.
That's fantastic. And having your kids, or having kids run your bars, is absolutely phenomenal, because they don't hold on to so many points of view like we adults seem to.
Right. Yeah. And plus, it's easier for them to let go because they didn't have that many years to solidify it.
Yeah.
That's an interesting sound. You muted yourself, Rich.
Because it's me, and everything is like buzzing around me now. So either we just flow with it,
We'll just flow with that. We'll just flow with it. Because I thought it was my microphone, so I plugged the big gun.
We're getting, can you see the trees? It's starting to get windy and all sorts of stuff. Because we're going to have some fun.
Yes.
Today we had electricity knocked out for like 20 minutes or something like that. But there's no storm yet. So I'm like, what, are you preparing for the future? Like, what is this? That's kind of funny. We tend to go with the flow.
It might be like preparing for the future. Who knows?
Yeah. I got my candles ready. I mean, not preparing for that. I just have candles so I can find them with ease. And there you go. We're cool. And roast marshmallows on a candle. That could be fun.
Mm-hmm. And the funniest thing, I found out if I prepare for something, it never happens.
Yeah. Well, that there's so many points of view, that we have about, well, look, it's election day. I don't know if anybody else can perceive, all of the.
Well, I'm gonna say, I perceive that constantly. I actually walk around and I can.
It's so thick. But the thing is, what space can we be, even around storms, or their neighbor's kid is now screaming, and the motorcycle is going on the other side of the barranco. But the thing is, I tuned it out. You guys noticed it because it's not something that you've it's part of your universe, I guess, for a while. Yeah. I used to resist it because I'd get so mad. I'd turn on a recording, something would go on, and I used to get so frustrated. But then I just thought, okay, well, what contribution can all of that be? What contribution can that space that I be around it and not resisting it be to whatever's going on over there? And whatever's going on in the US now with the elections also.
Yeah, melted with our energy. That's what I'm walking around as right now. I'm like, because of the lockdown, and in Germany it's also like, it's so tense, the energy is so heavy, and it's just like, I just walk around and I'm like, I'm melting everything away. I smile. I smile, and people are like, why is she happy? They get so
going on with her. Yeah. So there's a couple of other Being You certified facilitators that wrote on.
Yeah. Oh, last night, I guess something with the storm and the winds, but we can continue the conversation. I'm not sure what she was going to ask.
I know what she was going to say. Some of the Being You facilitators in the group were talking about that this morning, about melting.
Melting, yeah.
Yeah, no, sorry, I don't know what I did. I wiped off dust, OCD brain, and somehow I took myself out. I took myself out, including the dust. Maybe I had some dusty points in me, but I loved it because they'd asked for contributions in a situation. They were sitting down in an area that they don't typically hang out in Vienna, and there were shootings there yesterday. And they're in the restaurant, they're hearing the gunfire outside, and one of the facilitators had sent a little snippet. There's whatever's going on out there, but we're here listening to live music, shown the little video snippet of the glass of wine that she's enjoying. And another one had her kids because they had to stay in. The police was saying nobody can go out. So the kids fell asleep at the table. There was such an ease with just the space of melting whatever is, that things can begin to shift. Or we could go into the resistance and reaction and oh my God, this is going on. And then we're not actually being present. We're
not doing contribution either, because we can, being the catalyst of change that we can change a lot of things just by being there in the process. There was a fun part when I went to Dallas. It was supposed to be extremely cold. And I'm like, doesn't work for me. We ended up having sunshine and 72 degrees, which it translates in European temperature. I think it's about 20 degrees, which was amazing. Warm,
very pleasant.
Very pleasant. Not hot, but pleasant. And so what if our presence and choice can change totally everything that's going on around us? And melt it. Just melt, and wipe it off.
I love that.
And even if we need to wipe ourselves off, that works too.
Even if we kick ourselves off the stream, hey, it's a possibility. But there's a strange, I guess, sense of ease in my world where I don't have to get anything right anymore. That's one of the gifts of the Being You tools for me, is that if I'm willing to just show up and just be myself, sometimes I may be goofy. Sometimes I may have, thoughts going in 10,000 directions all at the same time, like grabbing a snippet of this one, and whatever, and it's all mixed in. And art could be like that. Life could be like that. A dish that you cook for dinner could be like that. And it could be so marvelous and such an adventure. We don't have to get anything right.
Yeah. And what if we look at our lives as art? Because truly, if you think about that, we are creating every moment. And art, to me, art is creation. Doesn't matter what you're creating.
Yeah.
So what if we can actually look at our lives as creation of art? And what can we create? There is no right and wrong there.
Yeah.
Just the beauty. Anything can be beautiful.
Yeah, what can we do if there is no right and wrong?
Yeah, as long as there's no good and bad, right and wrong, it's all art. It's all creation. Some of it might be smelly creation, but
it's all possibility. Like
all possibility of life. Exactly.
Just choose and be like, today may be salty. Tomorrow may be hot.
Yeah.
And maybe the same, even in the same day, multiple energies through the hour, multiple choices through the hour, just like the way you mix the paints for your paintings, or discover these pansies that I wonder what they'll be, what they'll look like when they're dried. But nasturtiums are beautiful too. They might sell those in edible salad places. That might be fun.
And what if you actually embed them when they're still live?
It doesn't work, I think, because they are wet then, and the fluid doesn't work with the epoxy. So you have to dry them in whatever way. You can dry them like keeping them in the shape, but you have to dry them. And since my paintings are flat and I don't want to use too much epoxy because it's not really healthy and it's not really like,
it's not good for you.
I just chose that version, and I'm pretty sure there is more artists working with it and working with flowers and stuff. I was researching actually today. I was like, who else does that?
You could even put like little crystals or little, I don't know if you want much.
And pieces and stuff. Yeah.
Like what that's really beautiful, because it's the painting, but it's also incorporating other elements of delight, things that delight you, things that are
fun and joyful.
Yeah, and joyful, and I love that.
Yeah.
So what are your favorite tools to use during the day?
I use quite a lot of them these days. But my favorite is energy pulls. Like barriers down, and then to pull energy from the universe through everything, through me, and to sprinkle out energy back to people and be like, hey, it's all good. Ease, joy, and glory, and just be that energy. It's a choice to be that, as we just talked about it, like in the situation in Vienna, or it's like a choice during the whole day. And there is not only happy situations, like there is people that are weird, or many people that are weird.
I'm weird. You're the first to say I'm weird.
I'm weird.
Yeah.
We even have the COVID being different, stay weird. So
weird, yeah, and we're there too.
Yes.
Yep.
But it takes courage to know that and to know that there's a different possibility available, because everyone else seems to be, not everyone, but many people seem to be swept by the current of different people's points of view, by the trauma, by the drama, by, oh my God, 2020 totally sucks. You know what? It's different. It's fucking different. We were on lockdown here from the middle of March. They only opened the airports like the beginning of October. Wow. And we had lockdowns of like certain hours you could not leave the house, certain days you couldn't leave the house, but there's still such a gift in it. I mean, how did we get so lucky? We have, a spacious view, at least, even if we can't go play in the ravine, still, it feels like it's playing with us. But there's that courageous choice to know that something else is available, and to trust yourself that something else is available is so brilliant. And what would it take for more people to embrace that?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Wow. Thank you so much. The conversation has been amazing.
It really has. I'm thrilled. I love these tools. I love the classes. So other than the art class that we know is going to be on the menu and the gallery, what is it? Do you have other new things that are coming up?
I've got foundation classes coming up, bars class coming up, like the basics, so to say. To just invite people in. I don't have a BNU class in the moment, so it's rather the foundation, which is going to be live, I hope. I'm still
depending on the lockdown situation.
I'm still holding on to it. I'm like, and but
I was going to ask you something. Do you perceive a difference in how you facilitate bars and how you facilitate, and even for you, Helen, how you facilitate the body class and bars and foundation, everything from, do you facilitate it in a different way once you've really delved into the Being You tools?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. It's totally different. For me, there is much more openness. There is it's different energy, that facilitation from being, versus before. I think I was still in that doing space.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah. And how about you, Mehlika?
Absolutely. I got the same. It's like, it's so, everything changes. It's not just like the facilitation of the classes, but like the whole life with that tools and using them every day expands so much, and like it makes everything so much easier. Just like to realize, is that mine? No, it's not. Okay, cool. Just let it go. If I would be me, what would I choose? Like, just like using these questions to get back to your ease, joy, glory, and your fun and your joy and your happy. It's like that's, isn't it? It's like the moment I'm happy, I'm like, oh, that's me. When it gets heavy, I'm like, oh, okay, something's wrong here. This is not me. So what's happening? And then asking questions about and using the tools of being you makes it so bigger, so much more beautiful.
It turns everything into a being you adventure.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Wow.
Thank
you. Thank you for joining us and for introducing us to the. Whoa, you've got a friend there too.
Oh, that's Simba. Friend. Simba wants to go out and he wants to play.
Does Simba ever contribute to painting?
He does.
Yeah?
He does. But it's really funny. Simba comes and like when I have my paintings flat on the ground, he goes there and sits down on them, like on each of them. And he gives energy into them. And it's so funny because it's like you can just bet the moment the painting's on the floor, Simba's on top of it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Hopefully when they're still in the tube, right? Not on the palette.
No, but when they're dry and they're there, he's going changing the energy, doing it.
I don't pour it here. It's like it's really not really healthy. So I do it in my studio. So he's not. It would be funny though to have him in there.
Yeah, I was going to say a long time ago, actually, when my husband and I were in Chicago, Helen, we went to an exhibit in some museum or whatever, and they had in the gift shop, they had a book about cats creating art. I cannot remember what it is. It was afterwards, we were told that it was like a setup. It was like a mock real thing. It wasn't really real, but it was set up and it was so beautiful. I absolutely love it. So the cats would, with their paws and their mostly their paws, they would actually, in the photos, the way they have them set up there, they showed the different artwork and the kinds of things that the cats would do. And it was phenomenal. And I loved it. And I'm like, oh, cat artists, it's just so beautiful. And then we found out a few years later that supposedly this was just set up, but still, I just love the possibility of it.
Yeah. There was an art done by the gorilla in Miami. Actually, there is Monkey Jungle, which is kind of a preserve for animals, mostly apes, monkeys, but there is one gorilla, which is almost like gorillas are endangered species. And he was on the island by himself, but they allowed as an entertainment. First of all, he's understood languages and Spanish, and he spoke in sign language, which was amazing because he actually created his own words, other than the one that he was taught. But he was creating some art. They would give him some watercolors and he would kind of like do finger painting. And a lot of them were beautiful. They were like so like the harmonious and the energy was just out of this world. And he was an incredible being. So I wouldn't be surprised if cats can do that too.
No more or better or whatever. We keep thinking that we have dominion over. But actually, if we'd be willing to just get off that high horse and begin to receive the beauty of everything around us.
Wow is right.
Yeah.
And what else is possible now? Especially when we are being us. What can we create if we're being us?
Oh, and Mehlika, let me know when you do the Being You with Art class.
Yes.
That sounds so exciting. That
I'm an artist. I've got my title. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
there you go. You're welcome. You're welcome. Between that and I don't swim with dolphins. When was it Samantha Lewis is doing the dolphin classes, dolphin adventures with the Be Mutuals.
Really?
Oh my God, that is
Oh.
amazing. I would love to do that.
Yeah, me too.
Wow. So thank you for this adventure and this experience. Thank you, everyone who's joined us. And what a yummy space to be in, rather than more of the that I had perceived going on in the world before we began our conversation. That's a huge gift. Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for this beautiful conversation.
Thank you.
It is our pleasure.
And we'll be back on Thursday with somebody else, I
With
think.
Alba Molteni. So let's get even better, yummier, funner, more masterpiecey, more PC master.
And whatever it is in a couple of days.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you both, and enjoy creating.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.